Hi guys, it is a very sunny day here in Houston. It's Wednesday the 25th. Houston time it is, let's see, so 7:30 on Thursday morning. I'm not really sure where everybody went. So as we work this time out, y'all have to let me know where you are and what kind of time we can do. So I appreciate the comments I got. Vladimir and Maxime commented, and I felt really good hearing from you guys. So please leave comments, even if it's just to say hi or hey or Здравствуйте, привет. Anyway, so I was really excited to get some of those and to see that some people are following this channel. I will work my best to record an English-speaking talk every couple days, so you'll have that. If I believe Victoria has given you my WhatsApp. I haven't heard from anybody on WhatsApp, so if you're sending me WhatsApp and I'm not responding, go ahead and mark something in the comments so I can see what we need to do to make that work. The plan moving forward, I will give these talks and have you have a chance to listen to a native speaker. I think the other way we could do this with the talks, if you want to have me talk on anything, or if you want me to go over some kind of English question that you have about English or why we use one word over another, go ahead and leave that in comments or send me a WhatsApp message, and I will incorporate that into these videos so that we can all kind of learn together. I haven't quite gotten that down, how that's going to work. There is something called Zoom we could potentially use. I just have to have some of my friends that are still in Usno work out whether or not we can do that. And if I can do that with my friends, then I'll put that as an option for us. The time difference is going to make a huge difference. Obviously, it's 3:30 in the afternoon here. So my afternoons, your early mornings, or if any of you have gone like further east, like Moscow, that might be an evening for you and an early morning for me. I think the other thing we can do, and I don't mind doing, is maybe doing some one-on-one talking. So what that looks like is a WhatsApp video chat or FaceTime video chat, and we'll schedule that ahead of time. I'm willing to do that, and maybe 10 or 15 minutes where we can just have a conversation, just like sitting over a cup of coffee. We can practice our English, and so if you guys are interested in that, let's work on that kind of schedule. Maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. If you want to talk, if you say I just want 5 minutes, I don't want to talk too long, that's okay. So I think that those are some good options. And then the third way you can practice your English is writing essays and practicing writing. And if you want to send that to me through WhatsApp, I will give you my email address. I won't do that on YouTube because this is a public channel. So, or I can send it to Victoria and she can give it to you to have my email address. And then you can send me your essays, and I can email back and forth with you to go over and make sure that they're correct. I don't know if you got the chance to take the test. I hope so. But let's keep working those skills so that if you haven't, that we're ready. I know this 2-week kind of vacation, time off, I don't know, reset, hopefully will work. I hope you guys are doing your part in wherever you are, and staying inside and washing your hands and avoiding touching people. No hugging, no shaking hands. Let's keep Russia from having this pandemic as much as we can. Okay, so that's like the administrative part of this, and let's work on that. Like I said, I'd love to have video chats with you guys and keep our English skills going. If you have the opportunity in your cities, obviously there's some great talk to any English speakers use tools on your internet, lots of YouTube videos out there, news videos, rewatch your news in English, if you can, like your national news, I'm sure is offered. I know RTV or RT has English, because we watch that news now. Anyway, so there's a question that some of my foreign friends have asked me in light of the pandemic and in light of the U.S.'s response to that. And what they asked was, why hasn't our president kind of shut it down? There's parts of the country that are hot spots, and our president does have the ability in special circumstances to make a nationwide decision about this. And some people are very surprised that he hasn't. But the U.S. is a federation of states, to put it like in a way that I think Russians understand the Russian Federation, and that there has to be some autonomy amongst those states. And so that is how our government works. There are national laws made by Congress, in the Senate and House of Representatives, but Congress, and they make those laws that are national, and things like that commerce, anything that goes across state lines, that has to be even on all sides. Taxation, yes, taxes are the same for federal taxes. Federal is the same as like the country, so our federal taxes are the same for everybody. And then some of the banking laws go into effect by federal. There's a lot of laws that people would assume are federal that are not. They're run by the states, and the states have a lot of say in how the people that live in those states get to work and live, and the laws that they have to live under. So the idea, obviously, is that when you have a vast nation like Russia, you can't really put things in, not necessarily put laws in that work in Moscow that work in Yuzhno. It's just different. It's a different part of the country. It's different size. It's a different atmosphere. There's things. So the U.S. is the same. We can't necessarily have laws that fit everybody. Never. Even within our own cities and our states. So the states are handling this pandemic as it comes. And I got like my little, you guys know I love me a whiteboard. So here is how the government of the U.S. runs. The federal government is at the top, and it's broad, and the president and the Congress kind of make the rules and regulations. And then each state is run by a governor. Then there are counties within the states, and they have a judge or a commissioner that run them. Cities fall within the county and are usually run by a mayor and a city council. And then smaller towns sometimes have a mayor and sometimes have a council that they use as far as who makes the rules. So let's looking at this. In this pandemic, this was one of the biggest, the starts of a lot of regulations. A lot of the major cities who had issues, who have major outbreaks, have their mayors have made the decisions to restrict movements, close restaurants, bars, schools. So citywide, some of the mayors have done that because of their particular city, or there might just be a large city in one state. Usually hand in hand with the city goes the county. We live in the city of, we live in the city of Spring. The city of Houston is closest to us, the closest big city. We live outside of it, but we are within the county of Harris. And because we fall into that, they've made the rules quite similar, our county and the city of Houston. We are currently in a stay-at-home order, which means that unless we're going to the grocery store, we are going to the pharmacy, which is like an apteca. Yes. Yeah, pharmacies are places we can get medicine. Going to the doctor, or if you're on essential, your job is essential for something to keep going, you're allowed to leave. But we're supposed to be staying in our houses, which, you know, we're blessed right now because the weather's nice, and so for a lot of people, they've got their kids already at home, distance learning, like you guys, and so it was our mayor in our county that have issued a stay-at-home order for us. There's no, they do allow you, if you want to walk, take a walk in the park. They just ask that you not gather together, but we sometimes walk in the morning or the evening when it's cooler, and there's no problem with that. They just don't want people coming together and spreading this virus. So that's our county, and that's the city of Houston. The entire state of Texas has not come under a stay-at-home order. The governor, we'll bring this back up, the governor has the right to make that decision. And so far, our governor has not. The state of Texas is quite big. So there's a lot of rural areas, so outlying, kind of like Naglicki, out, like if you went that far out. But the three major cities in Texas have made that decision. Now, in other states, the governors have come out and said, we're shutting this down completely. And those governors, their order supersedes any city. So once a governor of the state decides a rule or law, even temporary law, for their state, a city can't countermand that. They can't go against it. Countermand means to ignore it, basically. They can't ignore it. If the governor says this is how it's going to be, then that's how it's going to be. Now, at some point, if our president felt like this disease was spreading too rapidly across the U.S., that people weren't following rules and doing the right smart things to do to keep this pandemic in check, then the president does have, during these special circumstances, the right to make it law, to do a lockdown, similar to what we're seeing in the UK, in Italy, Spain. They're on lockdown, and that's their presidents that are ordering that. So far, our president has not, because there are some states that are fortunate enough to have a small amount of cases of this disease. And so that's kind of the situation, and that's why our president hasn't done a national lockdown, because as much as possible in the U.S., the states have the right to make laws for their own citizens, for their own residents. So you abide by the laws of your state or county or city. But if you go to another state, if I went someplace else, I would have to abide by their laws. So if I went to visit my daughter in Chicago, which would be against the law actually right now to travel, but if I went there, I would have to abide by her laws, the laws in Chicago and the state of Illinois, and they've been on stay-at-home orders for a lot longer than I have, that our county here in Texas has. So that's kind of why for people who are curious about whether or not, why the president hasn't come out and said we should do this as a whole country. It's because the states do have the rights to tell their citizens what to do, and make those laws based on the needs of their people. So That's a little lesson. And let me qualify this, because when I start talking about like facts, as far as like who has what rights, and this is stuff I remember from school. So mostly this is about you listening to somebody speak English more than you getting a history lesson or a civics lesson in the government of the U.S. So if I've made any mistakes, I apologize, but this is to get you guys to hear English more so than to learn about our government. So, I guess that's my quick lesson on that. And are people obeying the law? Sometimes. We are. And a lot of people that we know are following the stay-at-home order. There's a lot of jobs that they are allowing, are calling essential. And so those people are still out and moving around and going to their jobs. You know, we are very fortunate that my husband's working from home. I guess I'm working from home too. So this is the PKT Annex. Annex is like the side building, you know, the off-site. So we'll call this PKT off-site for now. And we're fortunate that our children have jobs that they're able to do at home. So we're not too worried about them having to go in to work so far. I'm saying a lot of ums. Sorry. Anyway, I would like to hear from you guys. I would like to hear some comments, hear some questions. Like, what do you want me to talk about? I could sit here and talk to you about how we're on jigsaw puzzle number 2 and what it's like to be self-isolating. Or I can talk about, I don't know, what do you guys, I can't talk about sports right now. Sorry guys, because I had hoped, what I really hoped was to show you guys what March Madness was all about while I was home. And I was gonna do some talks on that, but they've canceled all the sports, and so there's not too much sports to talk about. But I really want to connect with you guys, and if that means some one-on-one speaking, I'd be really happy to. You guys are super important to me, and in making sure that you're not missing out because of this pandemic, or however it's playing out in Russia. I want to make sure that I do everything I can to make it successful. My Russian's suffering, but if you guys can do better with your English, that's great. And anyway, so that's the talk for today. Send comments below. And let me know, one, that you're out there, where you are, that you're doing okay, because you're important. 2, let me know, what you want to talk about, and then let's connect during WhatsApp, and let's see how we can schedule some 10 to 15 minutes, maybe. If that's, just having a chat. We'll see what that looks like. So I hope that we can do that. I hope that we can chat. If that's an audio chat, that's okay, but I'd prefer face-to-face, so FaceTime or WhatsApp video. So I think when you see somebody's mouth move, it is better than just hearing it on the phone. It's a little harder, but hey, I'm willing to do what you guys need. And then I will send Victoria my email as well. And so if you want to reach out to her and just want to email with me, that's good. That's fine. So you'll hear this over and over and over again. In the meantime, from sunny Spring, Texas, I'll say das vidanya.